Hi, Dr. Patricia Ramos here from the Network of Medical Audiology Professionals, and I'm here with Soren Nielsen from Widex. Tell me a little bit about what's new in Widex and what's coming.
So for Widex, the main focus is our sound, the most natural and pure sound, and the technology behind that, the time domain filter bank, which is what allows us to reduce the delay to a minimum. And that's a solution that we launched about a year and a half ago, and we are still working on adding features to that, along with the artificial intelligence that really allows us to create a more customized, more individualized sound experience for the user when they adopt and use the app for that.
Well, and I think being someone who's been in the industry for 3 decades, it's super interesting to have watched the journey of hearing aid technology. How do you think that change in technology is benefiting patients?
So I think that the hearing care professional is absolutely the key, because understanding what are the real needs of the patient and how do they take on hearing aids and make sure that they help them in those everyday situations where they're the most important is where the hearing care professional makes the difference. But I think that the technology is becoming a better tool, and that we've added new features that allows hearing care professionals to customize that experience more and actually make it work. So within the industry, we have a bit of a tendency of thinking about it as hearing aids, they just work, and they're a great solution whenever you have a hearing loss. But we also know that in reality, a lot of patients who go and get a hearing evaluation done don't get a hearing aid. I mean, it's quite common in clinics that you have 40% who gets a hearing aid, 50%, maybe 60%, that's high, which still means that there's 40% who felt that they had a need for a solution who ends up not getting one. So I do think that by utilizing the technology, and it's about the hearing aid itself, but it's also about some of the added benefits through streaming, through app control and so on, that just creates more value for the patient and means that they altogether get a better solution.
So the last 18 months have been very unusual for the world in general, but in hearing healthcare, we've had a lot going on, right? Starting with, I think, one thing that I've noticed, and I'm sure I know manufacturers have as well, is once the pandemic hit and everybody put a mask on, all of a sudden everybody started to realize they had difficulty hearing. How do you see that realization of what's happening in the industry right now, all this disruption that's going on, the Medicare acts that are being looked at? How do you see that impacting the profession?
So I do think that one of the things that happened, as you mentioned, was that we all started paying more attention to some of the clues that are so important for understanding what's going on, and realizing that hearing and understanding is not the same thing. And I do think that is making more people come out and look for hearing solutions, right, which is a good thing altogether. I also think it's been interesting to see how there was an initial pickup really out of need for remote solutions and remote care solutions, and to some extent, some even replacing that personal face-to-face conversation with remote solutions. And we've seen that actually die back very quickly as, face-to-face consultations became possible again. And it really tells me that there is a huge human component in having a successful fitting with hearing aids, and that we shouldn't neglect that actually that needs to be built into the process. It still means that using remote technology for follow-up conversations and so on can be a good supplement, but it really starts with that personal interaction, that sort of consultation and guidance of the patient through the conversations you have in clinic.
But the ability of remote programming was vital for us, obviously, during the pandemic. And being able to have that relationship but still keep patients safe during that time, I think also kind of brought telemedicine back to the forefront. So I would love, that was one of my goals, is that we don't totally revert back, because hearing healthcare, obviously, you're dealing with an aged population that may have a number of other medical comorbidities, that they're seeing a lot of physicians and things of that sort. So being able to meet them where they are and not having to travel really is a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really hope that we take it in as a learning to say that a key part of this is upfront the right consultation and meeting with the patient, but this is a supplement to the journey for the patient, i.e. Getting that support, getting those adjustments and fine-tunings done, etc. Hopefully we won't be struggling with a pandemic to the extent that we did in the beginning, right, where it was really, really critical to have that solution. But also for the future, I think that remote solutions provides a higher degree of convenience and actually ability to support patients when they're out and about. So I absolutely don't hope that it will revert back. I think that we're just learning where do all of these bits of technology fit into the best possible consultation and patient journey.
Absolutely. So FCOM, this is your first time of being here. Tell me, it's geared obviously to be a very collaborative space, and hearing healthcare is something that has kind of always stayed in its silo in a lot of ways. How do you see a collaborative meeting of this type helping us in outcomes for the patient?
I think it's a very, very good thing, and thank you for having me here at FCOM to see this collaboration, and with FCOM I would say mostly focused on the ENT and audiology collaboration. It's really a continuous sort of treatment. The ENT often will be the first person to see that there is a hearing loss or a hearing issue, right? But handing it over and making sure that that ENTs think about audiology as an option and a need within the services that they provide, I think is a very good thing. So bringing audiology and ENTs together here at FCOM, I think is very positive.
Well, we're super happy to have you with us. Hope you'll come back next year.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.